to this week's M&A TV. A day later than usual, but never mind. Let's have a look at what we've got coming up in today's show. Fran talks about the Magician card in this week's Tarot segment. Jody and myself do Ouija board with Mary in Mary's Paranormal Adventures. And Chris will be taking another walk down Ghostly Lane. But first, here is the M&A news.
Hello, and welcome to M&A News. Now, I know we haven't brought you one of these in quite some time, but to be fairly honest with you, with the situation being the way it is, we've had no news to share with you. But things are slowly starting to move again, which means we can start to move forward as a group, but with appropriate safety measures in place to ensure the team's safety and as well as anyone else's safety that we come across. This is our number one priority as we move forward. So what news do we have to share with all of you? Well, firstly, the team has been busy compiling a list of locations for upcoming investigations as we start again. So we're hoping to start filming all of that within the next few weeks. Now, as it stands, Season 3 was supposed to go to episode 12, but it's actually at 7 episodes. Due to the coronavirus and being unable to get out for the past few months has held things up. So as a team, we've decided to call it quits with Season 3 and start again because we have our new team member, Fran. So we're going to start fresh and hopefully we'll be bringing you the new and improved Season 4 by August. Okay, now M&A TV will be taking a break so we can focus on our investigations. After tonight's episode, we will have 2 more episodes to go, and we're hoping to make our very last episode something really quite special. We may even do it live, so keep your ears open. Now, we'd like to thank everybody for their support during these unprecedented times. It's meant a lot to us. So, we're running a fantastic competition on the final episode of M&A TV. So make sure you're there for that. Well, that's all the news we have for today. Thanks for joining me. See you next time.
Today, let's have a look at card number 1, the Magician. The Magician symbolises the alchemy of change. He has before him on his table all 4 of the minor arcana suits. This shows his understanding about everything around him, as well as his resourcefulness and his ability to reveal the magical and creative essence of every aspect of life. Upright meaning having everything you need for your success. Even when you think that things are out of reach, the Magician reveals hidden knowledge about a situation. So consider every opportunity in a positive light. Don't reject offers out of hand. The Magician can also herald important journeys and a new burst of creativity. Have confidence in your abilities to manage your life at all levels. You are blessed with energy and support of those around you. Reversed meaning. The conjurer becomes a trickster. Examine carefully the motives of others because they are not as they seem. Just as the magician enchants with magic, so does he for the purpose of deception. You can safeguard your interests better than anyone, so trust your instincts rather than the words of unconventional individuals trying to curry your favour. Consider this card as a warning against disappointment or betrayal. In summing up, the key words for the magician are initiative, action, confidence, travel, and perception. Happy tarot readings!
Hello and welcome to this week's Ghosts in the News segment. Today I'm looking at an article that was printed on the front page of the Daily Star on Thursday the 28th of May. The headline reads, Ghost of Deirdre came to say ta-ra. Corrie Liz visited as she filmed final scenes. According to the article, the spirit of Corrie legend Anne Kirkbride paid visit to the Cobbles to watch over pal Beverly Callard as she filmed her final scenes, the soap veteran claims. The full story continued on page 7, so let's take a look at that. Deirdre was with me until the end, the headline claims. Bev felt pal's ghost. Corrie's Beverly Callard says the ghost of Deirdre Barlow actress Anne Kirkbride visited her on set to say goodbye. Soap veteran Beverly, who plays Liz McDonald, believes she felt the presence of Anne's ghost as she prepared to call time on more than 30 years on the show. The bi-spectacled phantom often visits the set to check the cast are fine and working hard, says Bev. Cobbles icon Anne died from breast cancer in 2015 after more than 30 years on the show. Pal Beverly, 63, is quoted as saying, I have been doing quite a lot of filming at the Barlow set and it's a weird feeling. She was there in spirit, most definitely. Her photos are on the shelves and you can't go on set without saying, oh, I hope you're here with me. I know she visits us. The article then goes on to talk about the friendship between the pair and the fact that they shared a dressing room with Anne's name plaque still present. Beverly is hoping that once she leaves the show later in the year, TV bosses will keep the name plaques and the dressing room as a shrine to the late Anne. Now, some people might say that this is hardly a newsworthy story, and you may even argue that the Daily Star isn't exactly a source of credible information. But my thoughts on this story are, I think it's really good that a celebrity has come out and shared their personal experience with us, because in hopes that it will may encourage others who've been maybe too embarrassed to share their own stories to actually come out and be open and share their experiences with us. For my thoughts on whether she really did visit the set or does visit the set, I think it's highly possible. Anne devoted much of her life to being on the soap, so it only makes sense that after death she would continue to visit there and keep an eye on things, and she probably misses all the people she once worked with and everything, so I can completely believe that she probably does visit the set. Hopefully we'll hear some more details from that in the future, so we'll have to keep our eyes peeled for that. But that's all I've got time for in today's Ghosts in the News. Thanks for joining me, and we'll see you soon. Cryptid, an animal whose existence or survival is disputed or unsubstantiated, such as the Yeti.
Hello there guys, and welcome to this week's Cryptid Files. Now I'm going to tell you some names. These are fictional names, and you're going to guess what we're going to be talking about this week. So first of all, we've got Abraham Van Helsing, Abraham Whistler, the Frog Brothers, and Buffy Summers. What have they got in common? Well, I'm guessing that you got this right from Buffy. So they're all known for their affiliation with vampires. So this week's Scripted Files is on vampires. This week we're going to be talking about vampires, what they are, and about any truth or real life cases of vampires. A vampire is a being from folklore who subsists by feeding on the life essence, generally in the form of blood, of the living. In European folklore, vampires were undead beings that often visited loved ones and caused mischief or deaths in the neighbourhoods they inhabited when they were alive. They wore shrouds and were often described as bloated and of ruddy or dark countenance, markedly different from today's gaunt, pale vampire, which dates from the early 19th century. Although vampiric entities have been recorded in most cultures, the term vampire was not popularised in the West until the early 18th century, after an influx of vampire superstition into Western Europe from areas where vampire legends were frequent, such as the Balkans and Eastern Europe, although local variants were also known by different names, such as Striga, I hope I pronounced that right, in Albania, Vrykolakas in Greece, and Strigoi or Strigoi in Romania. This increased level of vampire superstition in Europe led to mass hysteria and in some cases resulted in people being accused of vampirism and classically staked through the heart. In modern times, however, the vampire is generally held to be a fictitious entity, although belief in similar vampiric cryptids, such as Pishacha in Hindu mythology, Chupacabra in Latin American folklore, Mamba Mutu from the legends in the Democratic Republic of Congo, and Gallinipper, a giant mosquito creature from regions around North Carolina in the USA. The charismatic and sophisticated vampire of modern fiction was born in 1819, the publication of The Vampire spelled with Y, not an I, by John Polidori, and in 1897 Bram Stoker's novel Dracula is remembered as the most quintessential vampire novels of all time. Well, there you go, guys. Hope you enjoyed learning a bit more about vampires. I enjoyed doing my research on this. I really enjoyed putting this little presentation together for the Cryptid Files. So yeah, I hope you'll join us next week for another one. Okay, stay safe, guys. See you later.
The shape of a crystal affects how it uses energy and how it flows. Balls emit energy equally all around and provide a window to move through time, which is why they are often used in divination. Clusters provide several points on a base which create and radiate energy in all directions equally. Double terminated have points at both ends which emit energy in both directions, which are useful for breaking up old negative energies. The gentle rounded end of an egg shape focuses and discharges energy, and the sharper end pulls it out. Celestial, with folds, helps terminate bad energy. The shape absorbs and transmutes negative vibes, opens insight and change. A generator will have 6 faces, which point in several directions. They help focus healing energy or intention, draw people together, and attracts abundance. Geodes, which are rough outside with beauty and strength within. The cave-like formation amplifies, conserves, and slowly releases energy. A phantom with an enclosed point and inner pyramids break old patterns and raise vibrations. Pointed crystals help to draw in energy, are cleansing and energizing. Square or cube crystals consolidate energy, anchors intention and grounds it, draws off negative energy and transforms it. Twin crystals, where 2 crystals, usually of an equal length, share a base, draw people together and can help find people's soulmates in the right circumstances. A crystal wand is specially shaped. It focuses energy and either draws it off or brings it in, and is useful for joining up grids. Love and light.
Welcome back to our journey down Ghostly Lane. In this episode, we'll look at the videos that cover Dowles Graveyard. We didn't just happen across this graveyard by mistake. Thanks to our friends, the paranormal detectives, we were shown this creepy little location. Our first visit is with Brian and Nathan. They show us around and let us soak in the atmosphere before we commence our investigations. Already, we have seemingly picked up activity, some without knowing, and some whilst being fully aware of what's going on around us. But it isn't long before Brian and Nathan decide to kick up a live feed. Very new in my journey into spirituality, and I can feel things around me for the first time. I cannot explain anything, but I know what's there. Somehow. But whilst the live feed is going, both myself and some of the sensitives and mediums seem to pick up on a small boy called Samuel. Quite extraordinary at the time, I must admit. So we try some more experiments, some spirit box whilst we're moving around to see if we can pick up any evidence to go with our feelings. During our attempts to acquire evidence to back up what we felt was going on, we hadn't stopped to realize what was going on around us. You'll forgive the pun, but the graveyard had turned a deathly cold. And in our excitement to get the evidence, we hadn't noticed until Brian had pointed it out. At this stage, we're attempting to follow the feelings that we're getting. Both me and Nathan are chasing something, moving away from us constantly, while still watching us. I feel it's necessary to take out my rosary beads in order to protect myself, while still using the spirit box for what little it would do. For the rest of the night, we switch between spirit box and DVR, trying different experiments in order to capture a response from any intelligent spirit that we thought was chasing us around the graveyard. Some attempts would get results, whilst others would get nothing at all. But nothing stopped what I was feeling. I could still feel that presence in front of me, staring at me. To this day, I still don't know what it was. But we begin to think about bringing the night to a close, as most of the activity now is starting to die. Once again, forgive the pun. We start to get nothing else really going on, despite a constant attempts to incite it, but nothing works. So we draw it to a close for another night. So here it is, our second visit to Dowles Graveyard. This time it's just us. Me, Shell, and Jody. It's Jody's turn to do a lone vigil. So we're planning to set him up in the chapel. And me and Nathan had seemingly picked up a few bits of energy and activity. We proceed to scout the chapel to make sure nothing is amiss. It seems relatively quiet. Unsure and uneasy, Jody makes his attempt at a lone vigil. Laying flat on the floor in the middle of the chapel, he attempts to make contact with anything that might be with him. Safe to say, Jody spent a good half an hour doing his lone vigil in the chapel. No matter what anyone might say, doing that in a chapel, a ruined chapel, with a pentagon written on the wall in a graveyard, is very brave. But whilst Jody's in the chapel, outside, me and Shell, setting up the rest of equipment, begin to walk around in an attempt to find a spot to do our own experiments. We're walking towards one of the largest graves in this forgotten graveyard to see if we can make contact with a possible spirit, which I felt lingering around this grave every time I've been here. So we attempt to make contact with the spirits via pendulum. I'm nominated to try the contact. After a bit of trial and error, of course. While standing here, I can feel things all around me. Concentrating, I try to make contact with whatever I feel is around. Time quickly passes by, and we are rejoined by Jody in time for the pendulum. After a bit of trial and error, of course, finding our feet and setting up, I'm stood in complete darkness. Despite the lights, allowing only instinct to take over whilst I pose my questions, attempting to make contact with the spirit I know I can feel. Given the stories we've heard from Brian and Nathan about this place, inside I am somewhat unsettled with what I might be talking to. It takes time, question after question, but we manage to start getting through to a spirit who's answering our questions, claiming to be one of the most famous spirits of this place, talking to us, revealing her secrets and her feelings. But amidst the questions and the results, something curious starts to happen as the energy around us begins to rise. Pendulum continues. Mine and Jody's radios begin to malfunction, as if picking up on some kind of signal, but intermittently. This quite distracting noise is getting more and more intense and more frequent, until finally, whilst doing pendulum, all three of us, with our own ears, hear what sounds like a noise, and then a voice coming through a radio. But it wasn't one of our radios. We then started to fear the police had turned up in order to oust us from the graveyard, only to find, after endless searching, no one was there. After that, the rest of night 2 was uneventful, but this is night 3, the last night we'd be at Dowles Graveyard, and we're back with Brian and Nathan to finally get to the bottom of what's here. We start off more or less straight away with Spirit Box, quickly getting responses and warnings. It doesn't take long for things to escalate. Whilst in the middle of the spirit box, Nathan disappears. A little confused later on, he re-emerges after having walked the perimeter of the graveyard, claiming to have seen some very, very odd things indeed, and a figure. So me and Nathan split from the group, and I walk with him once again around the perimeter of the graveyard, whilst Brian, Jody and Shell begin some spirit box. They attempt to get to some spirits whilst me and Nathan are split from them, to see if maybe they will approach them better than me and Nathan. But this time me and Nathan are halfway around the perimeter and already feeling some very strange energies and hearing some strange movements indeed. Jody and Shell continue their spirit box, getting responses, but nothing concrete. We reunite to try the spirit box together and see if we can come up with something and get some answers. Me and Nathan spending the rest of the time in the chapel, trying to suss out some of the energies that were present there. A physical manifestation of the guardian seemed to hang over Nathan. But other than that, the spirits had done their talking, and our journey at Dowles had ended. Join me next time on Ghostly Lane for some more stories.
Hello, this is Shell and Jody. We are in Jody's back garden and we've joined by Mary, and we're going to give the Ouija board a little go with Mary to see if she wants to come and communicate with us through that. So Mary, we are inviting you to use the planchette to come and communicate with us. We'll give it a couple of minutes round just to get some energy flowing.
Going for you, Mary.
And we're inviting you to come and move the planchette in order to communicate with us. So first off,
are you here with us, Mary?
just move the planchette in any direction just to let us know that you're here.
You've done this with Chris before? No, you've done this.
No, haven't done this.
Oh.
First Ouija board session with the dog.
Oh, is it? Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Okay, I do forgive me. You know, we'll have to give
If
this
the
a go.
camera shakes, it's the dog knocking into it.
Yes. I bet Mary's thinking, oh no, not another dog.
Yeah. The dog's already had a sniff of Mary.
Okay, so
Can you just move the planchette to yes if you're here with us now? Okay, is your name Mary?
that's a yes.
Can you tell us how old you were when you died?
Six.
6. E. I. G. H. T. That's bananas.
8.
8.
You said 6. So what is it? Is it 6 or 8? Eight.
8. So you were 8 years old when you died, is that correct? How did you die, Mary? S H E L T E R. Shelter.
Let's leave the
Did you
bees
die
alone.
during the
Sorry.
Second World War? Did you die during an air raid?
Were you shut in a shelter and left to die?
Did you die in England?
Where did you die then?
C I D L S. Does it spell anything?
Do you know how to spell? Do you know how to spell the place that you died? 'Cause
Can you
that-
just tell us what country it was? E U R O P
Europe.
E.
That really narrows it down.
Maybe she doesn't really know how to spell the country. Did you die in France? Oh, I was looking yes. Yes.
Sorry, my arm's getting a bit.
None.
Yeah, that's really weird. That is. I've never had that
Yeah.
before.
No.
Just to let you know, guys, my arms has gone a bit numb.
So, if you died in France, does that mean you are French? Do you understand what we're saying when we're talking to you in English?
A lot of.
French people do talk
Yeah,
English. But
yeah.
then a lot of people say that spirits can be bilingual.
No.
No.
Oh, were you English and lived in France?
Yes.
Okay.
Was your parents in the military? And were they stationed in France? No.
Okay.
Can you spell out your last name for us? H I L L Hill M A N
Hillman.
Hillman. Yes.
Mary Hillman.
Did you have any other siblings, Mary? Yes. How many siblings did you have? 4. Yes. Were you the only girl? No.
Were you all girls?
Yes. So you didn't have any brothers?
Back and forth. Back.
No. Thinking of another question. Do you have a message for us? D I C.
Come on, don't swear at us, Mary,
Okay.
please.
N U G J
Can you spell that? You can't. Can you not? I bet you can't spell it, can you?
E
You're not very good at spelling, are you?
J. Yes. She could have been trying to say an actual message. Could have been Dick. Doug. Who's Dick? J. Oh. U. S. T. S.
That phone just fell over.
Just so. F. R. A. M. S. Prams.
Especially prams or.
Just so Frams. Are you happy that we've got you now? Do you like the dogs now? Do you like the cat?
He likes you.
So,
Okay.
okay.
You okay with the cat? Right, okay.
So, would you like to come out with us sometimes to our paranormal investigations where we look for other spirits to talk to?
Yeah, and help us communicate with them.
T E D I D. So I'm going to say, so you died in a shelter, but what did you die from? A C I'm going to say that could have been two C's. I.
Yeah.
Because it stayed on C for
Yeah.
D.
Accident.
E.
Yeah. It's going to be an accident, isn't it? Yeah.
T. Accident.
Who caused the accident?
You.
Your mum caused the accident.
Did your mum die at the same time? Is your mum with you now?
Is your mum Fran?
C. L. E. P. No. Y. What was that? C-L-E... C-L-E-P-Y.
Yeah.
Cleppy.
I don't know.
Is that a name? Cleppy? Is that like a French name? So is your mother French? And is your father English? And what's your father's name? S. T. A. Stan. L. E.
Stanley.
Stanley. Yes. What was the surname? Was it Hill?
Hillman.
Hillman.
Stanley Hillman.
Stanley Hillman.
Let's have a look at Stanley
So,
Hillman.
can you tell us the names of some of your siblings? F. R. A. N. M. Y. So Franny was one of your siblings. Did she die in the accident as well? No. Did just you and your mother die in the accident? Yes. So you had 4 siblings. So can you tell us some of the other names? P. I. E. T. A. R. Peter.
Okay.
Is that a French name? And
We're
can
probably
you-
pronouncing these wrong, so.
yeah, possibly. Can you tell us another one of your siblings' names?
You only need one more. So there's only 4. No, 5.
If she had
Yeah.
4 siblings, that should be Y. V. O. N. Was it Yvonne?
Yvonne, yeah.
And then your final sibling's name. R. O. S. L. Y.
Sounds like
Roslyn.
Yeah.
Are all of your siblings with you now? No. Do you sometimes see your siblings? Do they know where to come to find you? So how old was your mum when she died? 40.
Is your dad... you know, can't still be alive. Actually,
Possibly.
no, is your dad still alive? Do you know?
Are any of your siblings still alive?
Stay on now.
Staying on now. What year was it when you died? One. 9. 4. 1944.
War casualty then.
Was it a scary time during the war? Goodbye.
You don't want to talk about it.
No. Right, we're going to say goodbye then and end that there. Thank you, Mary, and that was really interesting. Ouija session. We'll have to check up those facts and see if we can find similar names on any records. So
Yeah.
thanks for tuning in.
Yeah, we'll get looking and we'll post the results of what we find after the vid.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Yeah, thanks, guys. See you later.
We hope you've enjoyed this week's show. Thanks for watching as always. Only 2 more to go until we finish this season of M&A TV, so see you next week.